The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are talking comics. It's going to be a fun show. We're talking about Secret Wars 12. And with us, as always, we have the Velvet Joker. How's it going, my friend?
Good evening. How is everyone doing tonight?
Doing great. Chris, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? I don't know why the picture will not come up for some reason now.
No worries. Don't worry about it. But I am going to, let's see. We do have the comics here. I'm going to bring them up and let's see. Okay. I got a bunch of people watching, so we definitely want to hear your comments about Secret Wars. And this was the latter half. If you go back to last week, we covered the first half. And so this is covering Spectacular Spider-Man. Secret Wars volumes 7 through 12. I am the Beyonder. Slay your enemies, and all you desire shall be yours. Nothing you dream of is impossible for me to accomplish. So with Secret Wars, the most powerful heroes and villains in the Marvel Universe square off on Battleworld, with the victor promised their greatest dreams and desires. And we learn more about this in the completing episodes. It's written by Jim Shooter, artist by Mike Zeck and Bob Layton. This introduces the Beyonder and also a shadow person we saw from issue 6. And this was a 12-issue event from 1984 to 1985. It features the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Magneto, Doctor Doom, and a ton more. Drawn from Earth across the stars, the Marvel Universe's great villains and heroes are set up against one another by a mysterious and unbelievably powerful Beyonder, with the winner promised the ultimate prize. But as battle lines are drawn, new alliances forged, and old enemies clash, one of them is not willing to settle for anything less than godhood. Can even the combined might of the Avengers, Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men prevent Doctor Doom from becoming the most powerful being in the universe? So this was my first read. Unfortunately, I should have read this when I was a kid. Okay, so Velvet Joker.
Yes, sir.
Issues 7 through 12. What
Right.
were your initial thoughts?
Well, we've got battles and we had the Wasp die, and
Yeah.
then she was brought back to life.
Imagine that. A comic hero not staying dead.
Yeah. It was so surprising.
Yeah, it was she was brought back to death by Zaji, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. And the mysterious woman is revealed to be Spider-Woman, but not the Spider-Woman we know.
Right. New Spider-Woman.
Encyclopedia and Chris, can you explain?
Yeah, that's the other Spider-Woman was in a coma or in limbo or something at the time. I don't really 100% remember. Her series had ended, and they wanted to do another Spider-Woman. So they came up with this one, Julie Carpenter, and she is a single mom from Detroit going through a divorce, which we learn later on in the main Spider-Man book. And this is where like Spider-Man kind of gets the idea to copy her costume when he happens to get something of his very own, which we will cover in just about another issue or two. But I do distinctly remember her just showing up and just being like, cool, black and white Spider Woman. I had no idea who the other person was. I might have had a fleeting memory of her from the cartoon, that terrible cartoon series that she's on, which is on Disney Plus. But what's funny is that this Spider Woman also show up on the Iron Man TV series and date Iron Man.
Oh. Well, yeah.
And now currently she's Madam Web, by the way. She's the current Madam Web, Madam Web 2, because the other Madam Web was murdered by Kraven and Hunter's family.
Okay. Well, that kind of makes, Iron Man, this Iron Man actually makes a comment on her looks later on in the issue as well.
Because Rhodey was just a horn dog.
Everybody was a horn dog in us.
In the 80s? Well, I mean, okay. So since we're covering this book at the end of the Secret Wars, in the Secret Wars What If, which is set 25 years later, everyone does hook up with someone else and procreate. I mean, Captain America and Rogue, Carol Danvers, So here's a quick thing. Rogue had recently sucked the powers out of Carol Danvers' brain and lobotomized her, putting her into a coma. And Charles Xavier and that personality was struggling to come through Rogue to take back control of what she had lost. And in the Rogue doesn't really deal with that too much in this series, but in the What If, Carol Danvers completely takes over Rogue's body, and Charles Xavier dies at some point and is not able to help her, with his psychic powers, fight off Carol Danvers' control. So Carol Danvers just completely takes over Rogue's body, and Captain America bangs her, and they have a kid together. And then the Enchantress has a child with Doctor Doom and Thor, 2 kids. Titania and the Absorbing Man hook up, have a kid. Wasp and Human Torch hook up, have a kid. Rhodey, Captain Marvel, or Photon, or Monica Rambeau, they die. Mr. Fantastic dies. The Thing lives. The Hulk lives. Spider-Man becomes a skeleton because he bonds with the symbiote. He doesn't become Venom, but the symbiote just eats him alive.
This is this is all in that What If series?
It's a single issue of What If. It was the final issue of the ongoing What If series before they went into one-shots. But What If was pretty much canceled for a number of years before they brought it back as just single standalone one-shots. Yeah. And they were living happily ever after. Everyone was living in peace. They even Thor's son even goes out to where his father put down the hammer in front of a plaque that says, "On this day, the heroes and villains of Battleworld set down their weapons and lived happily ever after," because they were stuck there. There was no going back to Earth. It was over for them. And it was one of the best written What If stories ever, because Thor's kid tries to pick up the hammer and he can't. And who does? Captain Marvel's kid, Captain America's daughter. The Lizard has a kid with the Enchantress too, by the way. The Enchantress they don't write the Enchantress very well in the future What If story. She has kids with 4 different male characters. Not very well written, if you get my drift.
What were you going to say there, Rich?
So you had an image up before. She-Hulk is, Captain America tells them to stand down after the Wasp is killed.
Right. Oh, by the way, Hawkeye and She-Hulk hook up and have a kid.
So many kids.
That's the whole point of the What If. It's all about the kids now. They're teenagers, and they're all they have no idea what Earth is. They don't know what the Avengers are. They don't know what the X-Men are. They don't know any of that. I'm sorry, by the way, Charles Xavier is still alive, but his mutant abilities have been completely diminished, and he lives inside Iron Man's old armor because he's old. And they are about to take the Hulk's device that would transport them back to Earth, because the Hulk is still smart. But the Watcher then shows up, and Captain America is like, whoa, 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 whoa. We all know what happens if the Watcher shows up. Maybe we should rethink this and not go back to Earth, because something's happening that could kill us all. And so coward Captain America sends all the adults away, and the kids are like, screw you, we're going to go to Earth. They go to Earth, and there are Sentinels everywhere. The rumor is the follow-up is supposed to be they find out the Sentinels have taken control. It's Days of Future Past, but the Sentinels are all being controlled by the Vision.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, because, by the way, and Sue and Namor hooked up and got married.
Okay. So general rule, everybody hooked up. Everybody had kids.
Everyone was having was effing in a UFO, according to Rob Zombie.
Okay.
Right.
What were you going to say there, Rich, about She-Hulk?
Oh yeah, so she was super pissed, and she wanted to take revenge for Wasp's death. And she goes over to the Doctor Doom camp and starts just kicking everyone's ass all over the place.
And she went there because Captain America didn't want everybody to live because they had Galactus just standing there on the hill,
Right.
getting his Earth Eater to ready to devour the planet.
Right, and he didn't want to deplete all the heroes' power, kicking their butts over Jan.
Yeah, and then you have Professor X. He's heading back, and now he wants to play all nicey. Now that he's down actually, he wasn't down. Wasp was the Avengers or X-Men?
The Wasp was the Avengers.
The Wasp was the Avengers.
Okay.
She might have been Avengers team leader at the time.
Yeah.
Because they were very, 80s, hey, women should be in charge. So, the Wasp was in charge of the Avengers for a long time. And then they made Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, leader of the Avengers. Which a lot of people forget when they talk about Monica Rambeau. And they're like, by the way, not only first female Captain Marvel, but also leader of the Avengers for a while until, she got them all beaten up in Siege.
Yeah. Another important event is Doctor Doom is found on Galactus's home, and he gets absolutely spanked.
The fight with Galactus is the fight with the Beyonder and Doctor Doom is awesome.
Yes.
I mean, that cover alone where you have Doctor Doom just with his armor just beaten back. Oh, that's a great cover one. But I think it's the next issue where his armor is just in shreds. I think that was the first issue of Secret Wars I had ever seen in my life.
No. What is it going to be, 10?
Yeah, it's going to be 10.
Yes,
yeah.
An amazing.
I mean, I had barely a knowledge of who Doctor Doom was when I was a kid at 10. I knew Spider-Man and his enemies, but Doctor Doom I just knew from Spider-Man cartoons. So seeing that, I was like, I don't understand what is going on with this cover, but this is epic.
Yeah, the cover is amazing. And for those of you listening to the show, Doctor Doom is absolutely totally wrecked. Just crazy.
Now, what's funny about the whole thing with Spider-Man, in other depictions of him getting the black costume, it's like his costume isn't in tatters or whatever, but in this or whatever, it's like he's got his elbow poking through his costume and it the knees are rubbed out or something. There's a very little damage to his costume, but retcons later on, they'll show Peter in, just a tattered Spider-Man costume.
Right. And they have that big cover, and then it's the last scene.
Oh my god, yeah.
Last page, so it's barely even a notation.
I think this was the actual first issue of Secret Wars I ever actually read in my entire life, was issue 8, because I know the connection with Venom. And I was flipping through it, and I'm like, I don't know who. I knew who the base characters were because my knowledge of Spider-Man and the Marvel Universe had been grown, but I didn't understand what was going on. And then it's that last panel, and I'm like, that's it. But the background fight behind Spider-Man is pretty awesome. I wish we'd had a bigger shot of that.
And then, an issue or two later, he's like, hey, that's not the same costume machine I used that the X-Men are using.
Right, and they have never, I swear to God, I have read almost every version of the origin of Venom, and they have never explained what the hell the symbiote was doing inside that machine at the time. Because we have currently, right now, as we speak, the King in Black happening. The King in Black is the giant null god of the symbiotes come to Earth and is kicking ass and destroying the Earth and blocking out the sun with a giant symbiote army, making it the planet of the symbiotes. They've done the origin of Venom 2 other times. and they still never explain what the hell the Venom symbiote was doing inside the machine. And by the way, it's the Venom symbiote when they are bonded with somebody. In the stupid Venom movie, which is one of the dumbest, worst comic book movies since Catwoman, the Venom symbiote is called Venom, and he's like, "I'm a loser like you," and it's like, no, that not really.
Well, maybe that will be retconned again with the next.
I have a feeling after they do
Venom.
Carnage, they're gonna jump right into Null. They're gonna do Null so fast. It doesn't make a lot of sense to do that. But after they do Carnage, I guarantee the third film will probably be Null.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Chris, I imagine they just didn't as far as it coming out of the machine. I think they just didn't have it that fleshed out at that point.
Well, to be honest, though, it has just recently been published in the last 2 years. There is a Spider-Man story that was submitted by the guy who created the black costume as a contest, and they decided to take his idea. They paid him the royalty fee for it, and bought his story, and they adapted the story, but that never saw the light of day because they announced they were going to do this multi-book crossover, Secret Wars. Well, multi-book, but you know what I mean, maxi series. And they decided to redraw this black costume into what we see in this issue. Years later, and by the way, years later, I mean as of 2019, they finally published the original black costume story where it was like a mechanical suit created by Mr. Fantastic. And it doesn't look anything like the one that you're familiar with.
Right.
You could probably find it in one of the Spider-Man video games, because if you know all those Spider-Man video games, you can unlock 30 million different costumes. There's a variation of it in like probably the most recent Sony Spider-Man game. Peter's game, not Miles.
Yeah. I'll have to take a look. So this is the scene here, and so I mean his suit, he's torn up in the legs and the arm, but nothing too crazy. And Thor comes back with his cape. And Spider-Man asks, hey, where'd you get the new cape?
Yeah.
And I find it funny that they didn't fix clothes for the Hulk, but Thor got his new cape. They're both coming out of the same room. Couldn't they fix something nice for Hulk?
Why does the Hulk need to wear anything other than pants?
So Thor doesn't get the thought of his junk out of his head again, like in Ragnarok.
Or in Ultimate Universe, the Hulk is just constantly naked. And he's kind of a he's not kind of. He is like a cannibal, and he's probably a rapist. I don't know.
Oh my. Okay, good to know.
Did you ever see that Saturday Night? Did you ever see the SNL skit with Chris Helmsworth?
No.
It's right after they got done. Go watch it on YouTube. It's so damn funny. Chris Helmsworth hosted Saturday Night Live. It's the Avengers. It's a reporter talking about the Avengers just defeated Ultron, and here's Thor. Chris Helmsworth be like, "Whoa, we're going on!" And then like Chris Kattan comes over, and he's just like, he's playing like Bruce Banner, and someone's playing Captain America, and someone's playing Iron Man. It's so damn funny. But the Hulk says, the actor playing Bruce Banner says, "I think I ate somebody." And Thor's like, "You ate a ton of people."
So here's the scene you're talking about, Rich, and it's literally the last panel.
Yeah, and he turns into Black Spider-Man, who obviously is the birth of Venom.
Oh yeah, so they can sell more.
It's a big deal, especially considering the King Null. Is that correct, Chris?
King in Black. He just refers to himself as Null. Yeah, he is like if you see like the images of him before he became the King in Black, he was just like this skinny ass like alien guy who crafted a sword and lived in the time before the Big Bang, and then used his sword to slice open a celestial, which is the giant floating head in Guardians of the Galaxy, in case anyone listening not understanding what a celestial is, and mixing his blood with the celestial's blood created the symbiotes. And in the Guardians of the Galaxy comic book, they explained that the word for the symbiotes planet was supposed to be like the name of their species. I forget what it is off the top of my head, but in Donny Cates' retcon, he kept all the continuity that has been written about Venom up to that point, so kudos to him. But then he just started adding the symbiote null god thing, and that's when he explained that the word that the Guardians of the Galaxy find out the name for the symbiote planet is, yes, it's the name of their planet, but the planet is keeping Null contained. It's the word for cage. And the symbiotes have been trying to keep Null contained because if he's unleashed, he regains control of all of them and can wreak havoc all over the universe. And the only person who's ever been able to defeat him, I think they revealed in another retcon, was the Silver Surfer.
It's just interesting that how this story in was it 1984 is now carrying through to the 2020 2021.
Right, unbelievable, huh? And they just revealed that the Surfer revealed that he wasn't in the most recent issue. The Surfer revealed he is not the person who defeated Null. He had help with from something and somebody he didn't realize he had help with, and he brings it through the symbiotes that are encasing Earth right now to find the bearer, the person who is worthy enough to bear the Enigma Force, aka Captain Universe. Which is basically Marvel's way of creating a character that is completely unstoppable for a force for good and can defeat any bad guy problem that Marvel has written themselves into a corner with. Because they've written Null so goddamn powerful. He is unbeatable in every fashionable, imaginable way possible. The only thing that can stop him is Captain Universe, which is basically like Superman, but the level of a god times 10.
Superman 1 million.
Yeah. So speaking of all powerful, we learn, and we'll get to this at the end, but the Beyonder, and the ending, I didn't really care for it. You don't really get a conclusion for the Beyonder.
We do in Secret Wars 2.
Yeah, but for Secret Wars 1, I mean, we barely see the Beyonder.
We never see the Beyonder. I mean, this series, he's just like an omnipotent force, and then he decides to do a walkabout like God in Dogma, Kevin Smith's Dogma, and takes the body of Captain Steve Rogers.
Well, I thought we got a glimpse of him in the very first episode.
We just had the light.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a shadowy figure or a light figure per se.
Gotcha.
Right. If you remember, if you saw the Spider-Man cartoon series from the 90s, he looks like the god Shaka Reef or Cybok from Star Trek V.
Okay.
I think he looks like I actually didn't remember that he didn't embody any human form in this one. I guess that's not until 2.
Yep.
Or possibly I don't know if it was in the Thing comic book first, because I remember the Thing had a solo series, and I guess I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but he ends up staying on the planet,
right?
And I think he has involvement with the Beyonder in a human form. He kind of looks like David Hasselhoff in a jumpsuit.
Right, but I think that's after the Beyonder has turned into Steve Rogers lookalike, and then decided to dye his hair into long flowing, Jerry curl. Because he's got a horrible black curly hair and a white jumpsuit the entire rest of the time.
Right, and at one point he had some kind of weird armor.
Yeah, that's later on.
Yeah.
That's at the very end of it, when they think they've killed him off and he turns into a baby, and this Molecule Man's responsible. It's so convoluted and stupid. I remember the first 2 issues of the Secret Wars 2 being fun, because in the second issue, Luke Cage and Iron Fist are like, "Don't you know anything about money, man? This is how things work in America in the 80s." And he's just like, "Well, you need money?" He goes, "Everyone needs money. I will give you all the money in the world." And he turns their Heroes for Hire building into solid gold.
So we are talking about issue 9 right now. The X-Men got spanked by Galactus. Not even Galactus, his little drones.
Right. And Spider-Man kicked their butts. The drones kicked their butts. X-Men were not having a good time.
Because Chris Claremont wasn't writing them in this story.
They definitely didn't have their shit together during this. We learn more about Spider-Man's suit. It can make its own web, and it's stickier than its normal web.
That's right.
But they don't really go more above that. I know there's a lot of characters, to cover in the series, but
oh my god, right?
Yeah.
And poor Colossus, he's just so lovelorn.
Yes.
Right, he's got an underage girl waiting for him back at home.
But he loves Zazie. Zazie, it's all Zazie.
Yeah.
Now, don't forget what happens to the Human Torch in at the end of this story.
Remind me.
So Thing stays on Battleworld. Torch goes home to bang Alicia Masters.
Oh! It wasn't covered in the comic though. It was just
this issue. So don't forget the regular comic books at this time never stopped. So we are past the death of Valerie Richards, Sue and Reed's second baby, and She-Hulk has joined the Fantastic Four, which was spoiled in the next issue after they come back from Battleworld, because She-Hulk is standing there in a Fantastic Four costume, which gave away the ending to this, that the Thing stays on Battleworld and She-Hulk becomes a member of the Fantastic Four, replacing him as their powerhouse. Also giving them some lawyer status, too. Also, they need a colored character, so Thing is orange, She-Hulk green. But honestly, it brought a lot of humor to the story. It's some of the best written comics with She-Hulk as part of the Fantastic Four. Because of the fact that they have another woman on the team, but also because she's as strong as the Thing and her cousin, but she's not, a savage nightmare beast woman. And she's a lawyer, so...
So a majority of the final episodes is everybody against Galactus. Dr. Doom secretly trying to steal the power from Galactus and succeeds. And then Dr. Doom going after the Beyonder. Right.
And him getting all the Beyonder powers, he goes nuts with power, fixes his face, and decides that he doesn't need the heroes or anybody else, and he sends the villains home, but he kills all the heroes. I mean, he kills them.
Yeah. Well, and Captain America knew what was going on, because he said, even though Dr. Doom's saying, or Victor's saying that, he's beyond everything and he's above everything, but Captain America says, what was the first thing he did? He fixed his face. He still has that vanity.
Right.
And right when they figure it out, he decides to destroy all of them. So let's talk about our thoughts of this, because I know we're running on time. Rich, I know we started to talk about it in the beginning.
What you said, I was already, this was a total refresh for me. I read this originally back in 1984, 1985, and I probably haven't read it since. And one of the big things that stood out for me was, number one, like you said, we never saw an embodiment, a human figure of the Beyonder. It was always just a mystery through the whole thing, who he is, what he was, just that he's omnipotent. And then he hides in Claw and takes advantage. Captain America gets his shield back. The Beyonder.
Yeah, it's Captain America's damaged shield. I think this is the first time we've ever seen that.
And, Chris, I was looking it up, and maybe you have the answer.
By the way, that's hold on, Leo. That's Doom's action figure costume to sell toys.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But by the way, I believe this is the very first time Captain America's shield has been damaged in battle. Was in the story,
right? But where do Claw and Doom get transferred from there? Like, when is the next time they're saw? I tried to Google it. I was looking up histories, and I could not find it.
Long story short, Doom was killed by Terex the Tamer, the Herald of Galactus, and he is still dead at this point. So he goes back to being completely dead. This is Dr. Doom from a different time period in the Fantastic Four history. So, however, before he died, he transferred his consciousness inside a passerby, and that passerby is walking around with Doom's consciousness in the back of his head. and the Doom bots over at Castle Doom kidnap Doom's ward and stick him in a machine. And he's got another copy of his memories, and they stick it in this like 12-year-old boy's head. So this 12-year-old kid thinks he's Doctor Doom, and the real Doctor Doom is like walking around with some subconscious in his head. And it's in an issue of Fantastic Four. They explain the whole thing because the guy goes home to his like wife and kid, and his wife is just like, "What's wrong, honey?" And he's like, "Bah, woman, you now not know the ways of Doom." And she's like, "What are you? Who?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing." Like he lives a suburban lifestyle to hide the fact that he's still alive, now living in this suburban dude's head. He also back talks to Aunt May because she asks him what's going on. He calls her old cur. But all's well that ends well. Dooms gets his body back and comes back to life.
Right. So
never mind the fact that a 12-year-old boy is now permanently embodied with the memories and thoughts and feelings of Doctor Doom for the rest of his life.
Right. And in ending though, I was all ready to give it. I thought I was definitely going to give it 5 crowbars, which is of course the highest amount of crowbars that you can give. But with the lackluster ending, which I had forgotten, where Molecule Man takes the villains back to Earth, and Reed Richards finds a way to transport all the heroes back to Earth, and Ben Grimm stays on the planet, and that's it. A whole year for nothing. All these great battles, interactions. Spider-Man gets his black costume, Birth of Titania, Volcana, finding the power of the Molecule Man. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that they jammed in this for this really lackluster ending. So it brings it down to 4 crowbars.
4 crowbars. Okay.
The thing with Spider-Man, yeah, that's the biggest long-lasting thing because of the multi-million dollars that we have of Venom. But the thing with Johnny, with the thing staying on Battleworld, would have long-term ramifications for the Fantastic Four all the way into the 90s, which I think is a really big deal because it was revealed that Johnny did not marry Alicia Masters. He married a Skrull impersonating Alicia Masters that was supposed to be, to sleep with Ben Grimm or whatever. But, and that, that's a long-standing Fantastic Four story that went on for years. And yes, it's a retcon that she was an alien Skrull the whole time, but it still had long-lasting ramifications to the Fantastic Four. It was their 30th anniversary special, by the way, that it was revealed because the Puppet Master detected what was wrong, and then the first issue is so I married a Skrull, and has Johnny using his Nova Blast on a force field protected Elijah Skrull. Because he's like flipping out because he does not understand, you know what I mean? Because she basically raped him. And then she's like, "But Johnny, I'm also carrying your child."
So, what would you give the complete Secret Wars Chris out of 5?
I guess I give it a 5.
Okay.
That shot right there is fantastic of all our hero characters.
Yes, I loved this final battle.
Yeah, and it is great. In the last page is when we see what's her name show up in the Fantastic Four uniform.
She-Hulk.
Yeah, which is my favorite part. And there was a Fantastic Four series that followed the Tim Sale movie, at least the first one, so before the Silver Surfer, and using a lot of the elements from that. It was very anime-ish styled, but it was also very funny. There's an episode of that where Ben loses the ability to become the Thing, and She-Hulk takes over for an episode.
So I was going to ask you, Chris, and actually, yeah, I didn't notice it before. She-Hulk in the Fantastic Four costume.
So is Ben just going to sit there on a rock? And I guess there's all the aliens that got transported there, right?
Yeah, but he shed the rock. That must been. How long was he Ben Grimm? I mean,
there's the thing is I never read the Thing book that took place during Secret War or after Secret Wars while he was just kind of hanging around on the planet. It's like were there still the people from Detroit that the Beyonder transported there with Spider-Woman and the two women that Doctor Doom, manipulated their DNA to become Titania and Volcana?
No, Molecule Man took that entire city of Detroit.
Oh, he brought it back. Okay,
Yep.
all right, that's right. Okay, I was gonna say what happened. I'm sure there were people in those buildings that got transported. That were like, what the hell?
Yeah, there had to be more because as they were describing it, is the Beyonder took pieces of planets from all over the place. So
Right, and there was the aliens, like Zsaji's
Yeah.
people and stuff.
So
Right.
what happened with the X-Men when they transferred and you had that explosion? What happened afterwards?
I'd have to figure out what issue of the X-Men this is interacting with.
Okay. Because they just say, oh, that didn't look good.
This was after Professor Xavier had the use of his legs back, so I think.
And
Because he shows up in the wheelchair, but then he's able to walk on the planet.
oh, we lost Chris.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Okay, so he gave it a 5 crowbars.
Right.
And
Quite the lackluster ending.
yeah. I'm gonna say, I mean, I find it kind of, I know the energy made wishes come true at the end, and I found that really cheesy. Captain America kind of like
Right. Getting his shield back.
yeah, he kind of like wishes his shield back and it comes back. I'm with you. I'm gonna go a little lower. I'm gonna give it 3.8 crowbars. So I'm gonna shave a little bit off.
Okay, all right. So you enjoyed it. It was a big build-up, but then at the very end, you were disappointed.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, the last battle with all those creatures was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some big splash pages there, and it's yeah, it had some good story, but I think they tried to shove too much into it.
Right.
Yeah. And then again with little payoff. Like if I was reading this as a kid and I was collecting it for an entire year, I would say, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Well, I think they were counting on the fact that our little minds couldn't comprehend of the big failure, and just like, oh, what? Really? They just went home and everything's okay? That's strange.
Yeah. So I know Chris has some shipping to do. His Vlada book is shipping today, so he's
Yes,
working on
congratulations to him.
that. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll have to make sure. I'll have to make sure I order a copy if I didn't already. I might have already. I can't remember.
I know. I don't even know what it's about. Do you know what it's about?
It's a female vampire, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
blood. Don't take your blood.
So we talked about doing next week 3 Jokers, right?
Right.
Okay, so we'll be doing that next week. Have you picked up anything recently?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But I don't know why I forgot, but one of the people had posted up on our page, on the Splash Pages page, like their weekly comics, and it was the Eternals, and it was the head of Thanos.
Oh.
And I forgot. Thanos is an Eternal. He is the brother of Star Fox and the son of Mentor. Star Fox, who was an Avenger.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with him or not. I know you're not a super Marvel guy.
Yeah, I know. I was more DC as a kid. I mean, I collected Spider-Man, but that was that and some of the X-Men when it got rebooted, but I fell out of it fast.
Right. Well, he was strong and he could fly, and he had he could influence people's feelings. And he actually got in trouble at one point. They actually take him to court because they're saying that he's been like raping women for years.
Oh wow.
And I think She-Hulk actually ends up defending him, and she's one of the people that he dated at one point. And she was like questioning herself whether she was influenced by his power or not. So, yeah, he's not as popular these days.
No.
Due to those reasons. But he was a very popular character for about a decade.
Yeah. I'll have to read up on the Eternals because we have the movie coming out.
Yeah,
And did they just reboot the Eternals or restart it because of the movie?
I do not know
No.
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did I show you the art book I picked up?
no,
Oh.
where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, I saw you posted me on that, but I didn't know what it was. Or you tagged me rather. I said you posted me.
Yeah,
I'm,
so
I'm so old.
oh no. So I fell in love with the art of Lee Bermejo, if that's how
Mhm.
you say his name.
Okay, that's the artist or the writer.
The artist.
The art of obviously he's the artist. Yes.
Yep. And he did this Joker series.
Oh, what is that called?
Joker.
Oh, just Joker. Okay.
Just Joker. And when I find it, I'll put it in Google Drive. But I'm ordering. I've been ordering his back issues. Yeah, so this is actually a pretty cool one.
Nice imagery.
Yeah. Yeah, his artwork is just amazing. So I've been going on eBay and trying to pick up some of his art.
Right. So, Leo, what is your DC wheelhouse? Since you're not such a Marvel guy, what's your DC wheelhouse? Is it strictly Batman? Is it everything DC? What's your thing?
Mostly, mostly Batman.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm not, an encyclopedia of comics, so.
Okay. You
So
don't have to be.
no. But I mean, growing up, it was, yeah, definitely. I tried to keep up on Batman. Batman and Spider-Man were like my two.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, I kind of found a little boring. I love Superman as a character. I love the movies, but the comics I really couldn't get into.
Okay.
Yeah. And you're obviously more DC, or I know you're heavy into Marvel as well.
Honestly, pretty equal. As much as I love the Joker character, I mean, I grew up, reading the Avengers and X-Men and the Defenders and Ghost Rider, Moon Knight, Werewolf by Night, Iron Man. I was a big Iron. I have a lot of Iron Man, a lot of Hulk. My DC stuff. I did like a lot of Superman stuff. Not everything, but I remember like Action Comics. It was a big Byrne era, and I think maybe possibly a McFarlane era, where the art was just superb, and they were really putting him against some heavyweights, a lot of Apocalypse stuff, the Parasite.
There was a McFarlane Superman.
Maybe it wasn't McFarlane. It was Jim Lee, maybe.
Okay, I'll have to take a look. Because I have another artist I absolutely love. Obviously McFarlane. I recently picked up the McFarlane Batman he did, and I have the McFarlane Hulks, the Hulk run, which was really good.
Okay, and he did a Spider-Man run as well.
Yeah, and obviously Spider-Man. Yeah, and I keep on harping on it. I had 300 when I was in high school, and somebody lifted it from me. But I still have a bunch of the 300 run.
Right.
Like, starting with 301 on, and obviously the standalone Spider-Man series was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of fell off around like issue 15.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you get into his Spider-Man run?
Yeah. I was collecting. Let's see. Amazing, Web, Spectacular.
Yeah.
Just Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man. It was crazy. There was so many X titles, so many Spider-Man titles. At one point, you couldn't get everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of like why I fell out, because there was just so many crossovers going on, and I think I stopped collecting around, I want to say like around 94-ish, around that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah,
was there any time that you like fell out of comics and then came back, or?
Yeah. Well, my big fallout was it 4 or 5 years ago? I think they more or less rebooted DC for the second time in like 2 years.
Yeah.
I think it was like the New 52, and then they did something else, and then they were about to reboot again, and I was like, No, stop. Just stop.
Yep.
And since then, now I'll catch it a storyline every once in a while online digitally, um, or I'll hear some of my friends, or I'll see what they're posting. So I'll look it up and see if I could see it, free online where I could find it there.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, nothing has really like jolted me back that I need to go and start collecting again. I am enjoying, rehashing all these old stories from my youth. It is fun,
Yeah.
and you have a certain memory of it, and then, like for me, Secret Wars was so built up in my head, and again, reading it was exciting. I was like, oh, this is great, and then the end's like, everyone goes home. What?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Like I even said to Heather after reading it, I was like, I finished reading the night before the issue number 12, and she's like, yeah. And I was like, they just go home. She goes, they just go home. And I'm like, yeah, I think I gotta reread it again. I reread it again, and I was like, no, they just go home. So, like I said, the memory of it versus the actuality is like, wow, even though they jam-packed all this crazy stuff into it, and I guess the biggest takeaway that to the future now is the Spider-Man black costume, which became Venom.
Yeah.
Which is, although you and I are not reading the storyline, Chris has informed us of the King of All Blacks, Null, or whatever his name is, the King Venom.
Yep. That was another thing. Spider-Man. So I would say I held on to Spider-Man, collecting that for the longest. I think I stayed on until Aunt May died.
Mm-hmm.
But then you started getting into the Clone Wars, not the Clone Wars, the Clone Saga.
Yeah.
I got completely confused, and like
I might have been gone by then. I'm
Yeah.
not sure that one. I think the last Spider-Man I remember was the Superior Spider-Man, which was when Doc Ock was in possession of Peter's brain, or at least in control of it.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the last Spider-Man series. So was the Clone Wars after that? Do you recall?
It was before that.
Before that. Okay.
Yeah. Like long before that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. There were there were some storylines that were great, and there were some storylines that were ridiculous.
Yeah, I hear you. But we there's definitely gems in the diamonds in the rough.
Absolutely.
And
I can't wait to keep delving into the stories. I think it's super fun, and reading about and learning. Like I didn't know Zeck had any involvement in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And it's just fascinating learning and remembering and sharing it with you, and
Totally.
and we're growing the group and the club. We're up to 122.
That's awesome.
I'm excited about that, and I want to connect with people, and I want them to react to us and post their favorite things on the Collectors Club Facebook page, and I want to get to know them, and I hope they get to know us, and we just keep doing this for a long time.
Yeah. We so you mentioned Mike Zeck. I'm gonna right there. I got that autograph from him.
Is it over there?
Yeah.
Is that Secret Wars?
Yeah, Secret Wars number 8. It was the poster of the cover.
Poster of the cover.
Yeah. I didn't.
You didn't have it?
No, I had it, but it wasn't in the greatest shape, so I didn't think it was worthy of a autograph. Yeah. So I was there. Well, you were there too, Terrificon, and yeah, they were selling the posters, and it was like end of the day, and I said, you know what, fuck it, I'll just buy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's another thing, cons. I mean, just hopefully we can start bringing some more writers and artists on this show. But I agree with you. Just wanting to interact with the community more, and just grow our little group. And I think we need to come up with definitely do more like questions of the day or something like that to get people interacting, and try to find out what everybody loves,
Sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm absolutely down. And we've been predominantly doing DC and Marvel, but there's independent and there's Image Comics, and there were definitely different series over the years that perhaps we can explore too.
Yeah, definitely a lot of independence, and then
I remember used to loving like the Savage Dragon.
Yep. Yeah, Savage Dragon. That's Image, right?
Yes.
And that was Jim Lee.
Uh, I want to say it was McFarlane.
I think it was.
This time when it's like I need a tablet right in front of me.
But yeah, it was Savage Dragon was that time when a lot of the heavyweights left Marvel.
Yeah, right? There was yeah, I think it was I think it might have been Jim Lee. It was Jim McFarlane, Jim Lee. I think there was like they called them like the 4 or the 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the big revolt. Everyone was anti-Marvel. They wanted to do their own thing.
Ooh, no. Savage Dragon was created by Eric Larson.
Oh, excuse me. Pardon.
Well, we were both wrong,
Dan corrected. Thank you for data. Thank you for the internet.
Yeah, it's I know it's really small, but yeah, that first issue is definitely an iconic cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and then you still have like IDW. There's a lot of great ones. The Transformers series, the Turtles series.
Yeah. Spawn.
And Facebook user, I can't see who this is. Say who you are. I was just gonna say, the Amazon series coming out, Invincible.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I've never read Invincible.
Oh.
But I was looking at the voice casting was impressive.
Mark Hamill's in it.
Yeah, Mark Hamill is in it. Is it his name J.T. Simmons, the guy that was J. Jonah Jameson in the movies?
Yep.
And there was a bunch of names that I recognized, and I was like, wow, look at that voice cast. That's kind of impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I started reading it because Alex Hoy, who was on the show previously, he loves that series, and he got us into reading it. I read like the first couple books. It's a long read. Definitely, it obviously finished its run, but the graphic novels were pretty big.
Nice.
But yeah, it's I'll have to see if I can dig them out for you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I know we're coming up on time. Talking about the show and where you want to, what are your thoughts on where we should go with this?
Besides exploring it the way we are now?
Yeah. I mean, is there anything you would like to expand on or do?
I hadn't really thought about it until now, until you've now brought it up to me, putting me on the spot right here in front of everyone. Making me look a fool. What is wrong with you, Leo? Come on, we should have discussed this beforehand. No, I'm just being ridiculous. No, but like you want to do like some kind of spots or like question and answer? I mean, I don't know how many people are watching like as we're live doing it versus overall.
It definitely fluctuates. There's a handful of people watching live right now. Yeah, I mean, we could probably do questions and answers. Maybe bring, like some guests on, some people from the group, just to bring them on. I toyed around with the idea since covering the episodes is short. Maybe we get together like 15 minutes prior and do like a weekly pull list. We look at what's being released for Wednesday. And say, go over what interests us. Yeah, a couple ideas there.
All right, could knock it around. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Toy of the week.
Oh my God. Did I tell you I pre-ordered some Transformers?
No. What kind of Transformer?
There's a new 86 line.
Okay, so now is this for collections? Is this, or you're going to take them out of package and put them on the desk? Like,
Oh,
what?
I'm definitely taking them out.
Oh, you're taking them out of the package. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
these are toys to be played with.
Well, they'll definitely be displayed. So I have some MP knockoffs. You can't see them there. Back when I moved back to the area in 2012, I decided to treat myself and went to Toys R Us and I picked up a MP. So MP is the Masterpiece series,
Mm-hmm.
and I picked up an Optimus Prime.
Okay.
Back then it was like $100. It was a huge splurge. But first one I picked up in a long time, and I've been wanting to, kind of pick up some more. So I found some Chinese knockoffs
All right.
of some of the characters. So it's like it's the same MP mold, but it's not the quality.
Okay. Are you nervous?
Well, well, not the ones that I ordered. I ordered the actual. It's a new line, but it's less expensive.
Okay.
But I picked up a handful of the MP lines last year. And like it's the same mold, but just not as good a quality. Like it's cheaper plastic and whatnot. Where like the Optimus Prime is like solid metal. It's like real beefy. But the 86 line is based off of the movie, the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Grimlock that I ordered.
Okay.
And let's see, I ordered Jazz and Hot Rod.
Okay.
And
now,
then,
wait. Grimlock, was he he was one of the dinosaurs, right?
Yep, he was the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And who else did you get?
Jazz, the Porsche.
Right.
And,
I always loved the guy that like he shot tapes out of his chest. Soundwave.
Oh yes, yep. There
Soundwave,
was
my guy.
So they started several new lines that I drool over these online.
Yeah.
But I haven't picked any up. But Netflix has obviously the new show on Netflix, but they have a new line, and a lot of them are Walmart exclusives, so they're hard to find. But there is a Soundwave that came out over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be really good, but he's really hard to find, and his price skyrocketed.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
Like they do.
Yep. What about you? Do you pick up any to collect?
No, I have a son, and he costs a lot of money.
Yep.
So I don't buy the toys that I used to buy by any stretch of the word. I actually can't even remember the last time I bought a toy right now. But I have a few collectibles still up in the closet.
Yeah.
Mostly Joker stuff still.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A couple figures here and there. Fair amount of art, framed art.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I like getting that stuff at the cons, supporting your local artists.
Oh, exactly. Totally. Yeah, it's the best thing to do at the con. It's that's why, all the stuff I have up there, and there's stuff over there as well. It's all autograph posters picked up at the cons.
Right. Well, when I had owned for 12 years a geek themed bagel shop, and that was my thing. Every time I went to a con, I went and got art, and one of my neighbors was a framer, so he would just go and frame it up for me fairly inexpensively, and I had the whole place was surrounded in nerd art.
Yeah.
Pop culture, superheroes, sci-fi, everything of that, that we grew up on.
Yeah. What's one of your prized possessions? Either Joker or anything?
Well, I live with a live Harley Quinn. That's my most awesome possession of all.
That is a great answer. Great.
But actual toys, I have a Toy Fair exclusive of Hush. So I had gotten, you were able to get a maximum of 2 of them at a time. I sold one of them a while ago, but one's in the closet. He's hiding.
Oh wow! Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because I used to collect Toy Fair magazine because I used to make money on eBay selling toys. I would find things that you could get in our areas, but you couldn't get in the middle of the country. And I would go through Toy Fair magazine, and I would check the trends, and I would buy what I thought would sell. And I had a pretty good hit rating for quite a few years.
Oh, nice.
So always a little extra little side hustle. Don't do it anymore, but it was great memories. And I'm months away. I mean, I love my son to death, so don't ever get me wrong, but I'm not months away of not having to pay his mother anymore. So free up money to be a nerd again is
Nice.
very exciting prospect.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, just to be able to freely go to the comic book shop and be like, I want to check this out.
Yeah. Well, so sorry, I hit my mic there. I recently started a pull list at my local comic shop, and I've been adding a little more to it during the pandemic, just trying to help them out.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've been adding, like, every now and then I'll have them, grab some series. Like I picked up year 1 and year 2.
You go to Sarge?
But Sarge's,
right?
Yep. Yeah, right here in Newland, huge shop. It's you're in Massachusetts, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's that big shop in Worcester?
Oh, I don't know. I've only been up here a few years. I was in Connecticut before.
Oh, okay. How close are you to Worcester?
20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. In the chat, if you know the name of the comic shop in Worcester, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to look it up myself.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look it up.
That's Entertainment. You need to do yourself a favor and at least when COVID's done, definitely head there and check out That's Entertainment. Huge show, or huge shop in Worcester.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a video. We actually did a video walking around. I'll have to find it for you. But Sarge's is almost as big as That's Entertainment. So that's why I was asking, because, series of reference,
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. So after a couple months, what is something, is there anything in particular you want to pick up, or just waiting for the freedom to actually,
Yeah. I'm not even letting myself look right now.
Yeah.
I we have hopefully plans to buy a townhouse in the next next year or two. So I think putting some money away and figuring out how we want to furnish it, and all the kind of stuff that will be nice, like classy stuff, because I don't want to get like junky stuff and just throw it up on the wall. If I want to get some nice figures or figurines, something to jazz the place up with nerd class.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, I know it's silly, but a lot of stuff I have there is a lot of Funkos. So you end up getting you buy too many Funkos. I buy too many Funkos, and it's just.
I didn't buy in. To each his own. I know a lot of my friends, they love the Funkos. They love to collect the Funkos. But for me, it was always like, they make millions of these. Millions of these. They're not going to be, to me, they're fun. They're fun to have. Absolutely. Hence Funko.
Yep.
You can put them all over your desk, and you're like, oh, I've got all my buddies here and the superheroes. And you're like, Dr. Doom smashes Captain America's head down into the Strand, because you got to do that, stress relief.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
It's good for you.
Well, so I was in the same mindset. I was not going to collect Funko whatsoever. I thought it was silly. I thought it was another Beanie Baby. And then somebody gave me a Turtles Funko, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the cutest thing ever.
You were hooked.
I was hooked. Yeah. So I've slowed down quite a bit. I think I have over 200.
Wow.
A lot of them are in a closet because the place I'm in now, I don't have the room to put them. So it's
Sure. And your wife might smack you over the head.
Oh yeah, totally. So
I do have the toys.
Exactly. Like I do have a bunch of Baby Yodas. And there's some Batman Funkos there, and I don't know if you see it, a giant AT-AT.
I cannot see it. I see Baby Yoda though. His ears are very distinct.
I'll make it big. Yeah, so
Oh
giant.
yeah, look at that. That's very nice. Now, is that a model? Is that a toy?
That's a toy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was the what was it? It was part of like the vintage line. It came out, I want to say around 2008, around that.
If I knew when I was young
Yeah.
how many like Migos I had
Oh wow.
and Star Wars figures and Micronauts and just so many classic toys. Shogun Warriors that just got thrown in the garbage. Just thrown in the garbage.
No. Yeah.
Just devastating. Devastating. I mean, I could be half retired by now.
Oh yeah, totally.
It's insane. But you didn't know.
No. When I was young, so I had quite a few Star Wars figures and a lot of ships and everything. And then Transformers came out and I started getting into Transformers. And being the good uncle that I was, I let my younger nephew, I lent him my collection. And I never saw it again.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So I've been trying to pick up things here and there, throughout the years. That's why I picked up the AT-AT. I actually got that on sale and it was on closeout. So I ended up getting it pretty cheap.
I think I had Castle Grayskull.
Oh wow. That's another thing coming back is He-Man.
He-Man, yeah, making a reappearance. But you go back and watch He-Man now. It was so horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
All those shows we back then were horrible, it's just, but our memory, because we had such love for it back then, it's sometimes it's good to revisit and realize how bad it was,
Yeah. Well, some of them I still like Thundercats.
Yes. Yep.
And I thought that was a good one. Yeah, but He-Man was super corny.
Yeah.
Transformers, when it wasn't a movie, was super corny.
Yep.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
There was never a shot fired.
No. Well,
the military show with no guns.
Yeah, but no. Well, there were shots, right? But nobody got hit.
Yeah, it was like lasers or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. No one ever got hit.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was.
And we believed it and loved it.
Yeah, but it's
and bought toys because of it.
Yeah. Yeah, you had that same nephew. His dad got him the big what was it? The aircraft carrier from G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
My God, that thing was massive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was a bit spoiled.
Yeah, I was just remembering I had a Lone Ranger, a Tonto, and Silver the horse.
Oh, nice. I remember looking in magazines and seeing those toys and wanting them to order them, but yeah, I didn't. Well, I was a kid; I couldn't order them on my own.
When I was young, as a divorced child, so I had 2 Hanukkahs and 2 Christmases.
Oh, nice!
Best of both worlds. They felt bad for me because I was a poor divorced child.
Oh, but you get to make out like a bandit, right?
I did at the time.
Yeah.
But you get older, nobody buys you toys anymore.
No. Well, my mom will, and she watches this show, but yeah, she loves going to like Goodwill and stuff like that, and like before COVID and everything. So she'd find stuff for me, like, yeah. So
is there like a memory of something that she got for you?
She's got me the VHS of Star Wars multiple times.
Okay. And she knows you love Star Wars. Every time she sees it, she's like, I got it for you for $2.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and I still have every single one. They're downstairs, and
yeah, how many different versions of that?
Yeah, a bunch of them. Yeah. Yeah, and I think it stemmed from when I was a kid and she went to a yard sale and said, she was describing something of Star Wars, and I think it was like the original AT-AT, and I'm like, you didn't pick it up, you should have got it. And she went back and it was gone. And so I think she's been trying to make it up since then, trying to find stuff at like Goodwill and yard sales and stuff.
That's
And you mentioned the figures. Have you seen some of the new figures?
no, I haven't really been looking.
There's a Batman Hush figure.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about it when you mentioned Hush. What's the name of it? Mafex
Mm-hmm.
is the toy line. Very articulate, but very like super detailed. And like Batman's cape is posable. So you can actually like replicate like the
Shimmering cape.
yes, yeah. I'll find pictures and send them to you. But it's the Mafex line is really like super detailed and pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, but the problem is they're expensive. So
Yeah. DC had a line, didn't they? Well, DC's shutting everything down.
yeah,
They had a statue line.
Yep.
That was really nice. But yeah, they're shutting everything down. I'm reading articles like they're either getting ready to sell them or just let them burn up. I mean, it seems like AT&T / Warner Brothers is not really interested in the DC Comics properties,
really.
at least from the articles I'm reading.
Yeah. Now might be the time to stock up.
Yeah. Well, there's always the rumors that Disney, Marvel buy them.
Yeah.
And then, that was the thing. I mean, every couple of years they'd have the crossover, the DC Marvel crossovers.
Yeah.
But imagine if Superman and Batman were hanging out with the X-Men.
Well, that wouldn't happen, but if Disney bought DC,
why not? Why couldn't it happen? If it was all under one umbrella, why not? Why not merge the universes or, regularly do crossovers? Once a year, a big crossover.
that would be insane.
Yeah.
But could you imagine now I know Snyder Cut. My hopes are up for Snyder. I hope Snyder Cut does well. But could you imagine a Disney run DC universe?
Yeah, it could be really fun.
Oh my god, that would be so awesome. I know it's
and if they're doing the deep writing and that we're seeing in WandaVision, and now we're hopefully going to be seeing that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then if they went and did that with DC,
yeah,
that kind of innovative writing, and I mean, listen, Disney is going to be the entertainment conglomerate for years to come.
Yep,
there's no doubt about it. But if they were to bring DC under the umbrella too, woo! It's like we'll be like 90 years old, but like Batman versus Deadpool. This is great.
You and I think a lot alike. I know a lot of people are like down with the mouse, down with conglomerates and but they're doing things right. I know it's a big money making machine, and it's sad that all these companies are buying each other up, but it's also sad to see a property go mismanaged.
Yeah,
when there's so much potential with these characters, there's so much history and love of these DC characters, and it just seems like they can't get it right. Whether it's the higher ups, stepping on the creative's toes, or trying to make decisions based on toy lines. It's just they I don't know, just something like Transformers. Did you catch the new Netflix series?
I'm aware of it, but
Okay.
I didn't watch it. No.
What wasn't that good? The first season was good, kind of good. Second season, I didn't even finish watching.
All right, that's sad.
And it's definitely built just to sell toys. Matter of fact, I saw a picture somebody posted that in the show, they literally took the toy 3D model and used it as one of the characters. Because the character has tank treads. But when you look at the character in the show, it has the tank tread, but it has like that little wheel sticking out of it. You know,
Mhm.
like a toy would have like a tank tread that doesn't move, and you got a toy like a wheel so it can roll.
Mhm.
The figure had that in the show.
Yes.
Like they took the actual 3D model from that they used to build the toy.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you said, they're just doing it to sell toys. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like they're telling you a story. You feel like they're selling you a product.
Exactly. But the products are awesome though. The new lines are amazing. But I know we're going around in circles. So I know we ran a little late. Anything else you wanted to chat about, my friend?
No, I think we're good for the night. I see Chris just messaged his computer crashed. He apologized.
Oh no. Well, hopefully he gets it back so he can create shipping labels and get his stuff done.
Absolutely. So yeah, I gave it 4. You gave it 3.8.
Yes, sir. And where do you like people interacting with you?
Yeah, I'm Rich Davis on Facebook or Velvet Joker 2021 on Instagram.
Okay. And for me, just Google Leo Pine. You find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. But more importantly, I run a podcasting network called The Dorkening. And just go to thedorkening.com. You can find a bunch of stuff about it. But more importantly, subscribe to Splash Pages, the comic book club over on Facebook. We have an awesome community growing and, a lot of great discussion. And, we want to hear what you think about comics.
And Leo, on the Facebook Splashbook pages, are they able to invite people
I
that are
will.
like-minded?
I believe they can.
All right. Well, guys, if you're out there watching and you have friends that you think might find this fun or enjoyable, or want to just participate in this community, please invite them. We want to see them. We want to interact with them. We want to interact with you.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look and see if that's possible. If it's not, I'm going to see if it's not possible right now, see if I can change it.
Okay.
Okay. With that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Good night.